Hello there, fellow farmers. Rodamon here. Thank you for tuning in to Stationeers Brutal Vulcan. Episode 4, Greenhouse Atmospherics and Planting Potatoes. Alright, let's set up the airlock with our labeler. So this is the farm exterior, farm interior, I guess I should say door. Farm exterior vent, farm interior vent, farm gas sensor, farm airlock console. Oh, we don't even have a regular airlock. Yeah, what was I thinking? Okay. Now that everything is displayable on the network, I am going to set all the KPAs to 0. And then search for the term farm, because that will filter all of the devices on the network. And then we'll do exterior door, exterior vent, interior vent, gas sensor. Done. I mixed up my doors. I never plugged that in. This is exterior, interior, exterior, interior. I'll data disk again just to make sure I didn't screw it up. No, it's right. Interior, interior, exterior, exterior, gas sensor. Yep. Don't cry, wolf, or I'm gonna have to ignore you. Alright, data disk. Guess what? Data disk, you're being stored there. Because, why not? Alright, now we want to vacuum this out so that I actually can fill it with the gas I want. So we have a working airlock now. We have an air conditioner once I have carbon dioxide in the room. And we're just waiting for this to be true vacuum. Before that, I ought to go hydrate and eat. It doesn't matter what you call it, it matters that the door is linked to the same vent. The vent and doors are, like, coupled. So this is the farm interior, and this is the farm exterior. Okay, food and water. I need a little bit of both. And it's gonna be a little hot in there. I'm also not going to do the labeler right now, so put that away. I love how I have boneless cereal bars. I'd love to know what a bone-in cereal bar is, but, you know, I'm not privy to that information. Okay. Canisters are, like, slightly low-key in the way. Also, let's finish the bottles before we move to new ones. I need to do something with these canisters because this is critical. I know, the cans are in the way. Can you move? Meh. There we go. 70 Celsius. I'm gonna do some fresh oxygen. It's a little bit of a waste, but, like, I don't want to burn my lungs. And then I'll have to air condition that stuff later. That's actually really easy to do. Okay, helmet up. A little water. A little granola. Whatever cereal bar. What I'm hoping to do is that the oxygen... I think what's happening is it's, my suit is, like, outgassing and, like, ruining it. But whatever, it doesn't matter. Because we'll be air conditioning this room soon. That's like one of the next projects once I start the farm. Alright, so all the oxygen is in the oxygen hole. And yeah, we're good. Alright, cycling to interior. Yeah, it's probably that I didn't pause my suit and it's like wasting out. It doesn't matter. I don't care. Yep, this is vacuum. Okie dokie. Now that this is vacuum, we don't even need the active vent in here anymore. Let me think. Actually, I do need an active vent, just not there. I need an active vent somewhere around here. I'm not really sure where, but I'll figure it out in a minute. But I definitely want to deconstruct everything, the passive vent and that, because I don't want to bleed temp in. Alright, so now we have to figure out how to gas up our greenhouse. So, this is carbon dioxide, and I'm going to feed carbon dioxide into the base. Here, spare passive vent. I don't know where that needs to go. We have carbon dioxide, and I'm going to feed the carbon dioxide in like that. And how much carbon dioxide do we have? How many moles? We've got 700 moles of it. Not bad. How many there's... We actually... I'm going to pause this for now. We have most of the carbon dioxide from our general tank already filtered. Okay, I was off by 1 unit, but it doesn't matter. I'll fix it. So now, this vent gets hooked up, wired up, and I'll be able to set it outward, and it will dump carbon dioxide into the room. So just so that you can follow along, this room at the moment is vacuum. Turn that on for a moment. Now it's 100% carbon dioxide, which is what you want for a farm. I'm also going to enable and start the air conditioner. So we need, ideally, the pressure to be above 50 kPa. Potatoes like above 50, but I don't need to make it much more than above 50. Keeping in mind that as it cools down in this room, its pressure will go down because, you know, gas expands. So we're going to need to maybe get it up to like 70 kPa or so. And then as it cools, it will go down to about 50. Anywhere above 25 is fine, but like we want ideal growing. So we have 125 moles of CO2 in here. And it is cooling down. It's already 130, 129, so on and so forth. Because the air conditioner is dumping the excess heat back into the general tank up top. The air conditioner does increments of only 10. So I set it to 30. 30's fine. I don't care. 30's works for me. Okay. Now we should mine a whole lot of iron for the hydroponic basins. And, oh, I need to make electrum. Okay, so current priority right now is set up the plant basins and grow. I think for my sanity, I'm going to go... Because at this point, like, not having a locker for the canisters is, like, actively being a problem. I'm going to get a locker here. And then, we are pushing towards, like, potential storm time. So I might want to get everything inside and locked down. Because if I lost this canister, that would suck. Because, like, all my food's in there. So I might spend a minute... No, actually, I want to start farming as soon as possible for the oxygen. But, like, it's still cooling down, so it's not like I can actively be working on that right now. Good job, me. That's 100% backwards.
Waste tank caution.
Oh, speaking of waste tanks. And if my waste tank's complaining, my oxygen tank will soon. Once I have the once I have the greenhouse set up, I'll set an oxygen filter which will also accept those waste tanks. So I'll be able to recapture all the oxygen that is in those canisters, and then yeah, well, so it's not lost gas. Okay. If I want electrum, I'm gonna want gold and silver. And fortunately for me, I did identify where silver was. It was just up on this hill. Silver is obviously a more rare resource than gold, copper, iron, coal, silicon. So sometimes it's a bit of a challenge to find, but luckily I spotted it pretty early on. And I only really need 50 of it. I don't need to make a massive batch of electrum. Electrum's pretty easy to make. So electrum, by the way, is smelts at only 327. So I can't do it tonight because like it's gonna get colder than that. But tomorrow I'll be able to make electrum. So what I can do tonight is prime the gold and the silver in the furnace. So that all I have to do is pipe in some gas tomorrow to get it going. So just priming the furnace for electrum is all I'm doing. So there's the silver, and here's the gold. That was quick. And this is because grow lights require electrum to be able to make one. And my farm is going to need a grow light. And then I'm probably going to want to set up the grow light logic, which is really easy to set up. But set up the grow light logic to read the solar angle. And then if the solar angle is greater than 90, and I already have memory of 90, then turn on the light so that my potatoes aren't illuminated 100% of the time, because that would kill them. That wouldn't kill them, but that would light stress them so that they wouldn't grow. I could also collect more night air to fill up the tanks. Yes. Because we're at like min temp right now. There is also, like, maybe not... So there's also a school of thought of, like, possibly... Yeah, it's only... I'm gonna do it. Dumping this tank? Whoa! Jesus. Glad I hit my jetpack quick. Come on, let me close. And then starting over with fresh, cold gas. Colder gas. There it goes. Sweet. Just resetting it. You know, that's it. Okay, that shouldn't have been on this whole time, but whatever. Whoa! Is my drill on? Yeah, it must be. I hear it. My drill battery's pretty dead, so swap it. Okay, I think I should be able to process, prep the electrum now. Yeah, okay, it is processing the silver. Cool. How am I going to manage the pressure inside? You'll see. Oh, you know what? This got pressurized because of the outgassing of the silver. So it's like hot in there. So that's actually really useful. I forgot about that process where like silver and gold will produce oxygen, which then combines with the atmospheric volatiles, which then creates combustion. So I can actually heat up my furnace by putting gold and silver in there first, turning the gold and silver into ingots, keeping the gas inside, which will cause combustion. So the temperature of the electrum doesn't really matter. It's the pressure. So I need to outgas this to 2.4 MPa. Right now it's at like 9 or 10. So once it's at 2.4 MPa, I'll be able to make electrum. I don't even need to wait for daytime. I forgot about that. So how will I manage the pressure inside it? I have an active vent hooked up to the CO2 tank. So I can turn the active vent on to add more CO2 to the room whenever I want. There it is, electrum. Don't go into the frickin' abyss. Jesus Christ. All right, let's dump that out. And copper and steel plus electrum is grow light. Nice. Let's check up on our temp in here. Ooh, 48C. It still needs a little bit more carbon dioxide. Oh, am I out of... I'm out of filter carbon dioxide. Got it. Let's go filter some more. So I can actually pull more carbon dioxide. Granted, it will be hot. But pull some more carbon dioxide into the system. I have not swapped my batteries in a bit. Once it hits about an MPa, that's probably enough carbon dioxide, but it doesn't hurt to get more. Alright. 7 Pascal? Yeah, that's empty enough. Alright, let's get the... I think what I'm going to do is get walls. Wall up the base. While we wait for the room to be ready for plants, I want to be ready for storms. Because the next storm might come whenever. So we'll do flat walls. And I need 10 for the ceilings where I am right now. And then 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 for the walls. So 16. Probably need more steel. And then, of course, like the airlock itself. And this is because I don't want to lose stuff during the storm. Now, with that... Oh, it's heating up. So turn this off. With that said, the solar panels outside will take damage. Eventually, I'll add windows to them so that they don't take storm damage, but, like, they can probably survive the first storm. The first storm won't destroy them. It will just damage them. I hope. Worst case scenario, I make new ones. But I'd ideally not run into that situation. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 more. And then... I'll need another batch of steel. Because we're down to 18. Hi, son. Now, once the base is enclosed, I can also work to make it a carbon dioxide environment, which is plant friendly. So that I don't need a airlock between the main base and the farm. Because of the scarcity of oxygen, I do not intend to have a truly breathable base. Not in the near future, because I don't have the oxygen to spare. Now, a door. You know what? What about the station battery? It won't get damaged in the storm. It's not one of the things storms do. Alright, that needs plastic. And glass. Now, the only things that get damaged are like loose items and solar panels and that aren't heavy duty and wind turbines that aren't heavy duty. That's what gets damaged. So it's a small, it's a subset of all the things. So the only things out there right now that gets damaged is the solar panels. You just take my word for it. If you want. There. So we have an enclosed base. Now, obviously, the temperature in the base right now is 480. I would want to probably at least capture nighttime air to put in the base, because it's going to make my suit work less than daytime air. So we'll have to... Oops, wrong thing. Actually, yeah, one more glass sheet. Plastic. I'm doing the other door. I'm not going to fully do an airlock right now, I don't think, because I want to prep another batch of steel. And then a lot of iron, because hydroponic basins require a lot of iron. But yeah, if I manage the temperature of my base a little bit, it will put a lot less strain on my suit. Which is good. Okay, so we have 2 doors. The other thing I was going to do with this thing is... Crowbar is mine. Let's get this, grate out of the way. It's chunky, it's big. There. Much nicer. Okay, checking up on the farm. Would vacuuming out the base be good or bad? Probably better than the heat. Oh, yeah, it's 30 Celsius in here. Hell yeah. All right, I'm gonna make it a little warmer because I am adding a little bit more pressure so that it's closer to ideal growing conditions. So it's 52 Celsius, but it has a little bit more gas so that the potatoes are happier. Okay, now I need to... So current priority right now is to mine iron for grow basins and make light. The grow light. I'm gonna try to pull in the hot ambient air from midday, the air that we got right now, to see if I can't just smelt iron with it. You can also, if you have an excess of power, you can use pipe heaters too, and just slap some pipe heaters on the thing. That's a pretty viable way to get Inconel and Constantin. Or Invar, rather, not Inconel. Invar and Constantin. But until I need Invar and Constantin, I'm not going to bother with it, because I don't have that kind of time to spare. That's probably good enough for now. I say as I mine more. I know I said I wanted to prep a batch of steel, but because I've already passed, like, the hottest noonday, I'm probably not going to get that furnace ready for steel. So I'm going to go for iron, because growing is more important anyway. Are there pipe coolers? Sort of. But which is true in real life, it's a lot harder to cool than heat. You can just use electricity to heat, but you can't just, like, throw electricity at it to cool. So, keeping things cooler is a lot more difficult. Alright, it stayed at temp for iron. Nice. And let's empty that out. Okay, what we're doing now is getting a utility, a liquid utility kit, getting some liquid pipes. They don't need to be insulated because they're going in a room that should be temperature controlled. And then a bunch of hydroponic basins. So one of those is fine. And we want, I don't know, like 10 liquid pipes, something like that, to start. Eight's fine. Basins. Oh, no, hydroponic trays. And we can start with 3, but I'm going to want more than 3 pretty quickly. Yeah, you have to transfer the heat somewhere. And that's true IRL, more or less. Or radiate it, etc. Alright, I have a full waste tank. We're gonna probably want to do the oxygen recapture sooner or later. But, not gonna worry about that right now, because it's not critical. Okay. I am going to save as planting potatoes. Now, I did mention I'm going to try to do this without save scumming, but, you know, obviously if my potatoes die, like, it's game over. Unless I, like, race to set up trading or something. But basically, if my potatoes die, I'm screwed, so... it is an appropriate temperature and appropriate pressure in this room for growing potatoes. It is official. It's 37 Celsius, it's 56 kPa, so we can grow potatoes in this room right now. So let's set that up. What I want to go and do is to line the trays. I don't want to bump into the walls because of the potential heat problem of that. Set up a liquid tank storage. Higher, so I don't have to, like, compete with the actual potato growth. And then start plumbing it up. And you can see this is where I'm going to add additional trays. I do not yet have the grow light. And that needs water. So let's give it water and then give it a grow light. And we should be planting or growing potatoes. So here's a can of water that you start with. Boop.
Hydration critical.
I know. I'm thirsty too. Boop. Okay. They've already budded. So then we just need the grow light, but I'm going to have to hydrate first, because otherwise I'm dead. So I have enough granola, or cereal bar on me. Ooh, not that. I have enough cereal bar on me, but I'm going to need another water can. And I have 4 water bottles left. Now, of course, I can also draft off of that water tank, the 12-liter water tank over there, but I'm going to want to start to make water soon. $75 Celsius. You know what? Screw that. I'm going for fresh oxygen. I don't need burnt lungs. I'm not wasting the oxygen. It's not escaping out or anything. I'm not losing it. I'm just deciding to not cook my lungs horribly. Drink from the old bottle first. And then the new bottle. Alright, I did mention it would be best if I had nighttime atmosphere in my base. So I'm making it nighttime atmosphere in here. So the next thing I want is a grow light. And like the requisite cables to actually print it. So let's print... So for the grow light, it is 5 copper, 5 steel. So I've got 16 copper and the steel required. No, that's a cable coil. Grow light. I'll only make one of those because I'm out of steel. Oh, let's swap the air tanks too. Yeah, the active vent might be the heat bleed, or it could be my suit. I'm not trying to figure it out because it's of no consequence to me. Things that don't matter, I have to ignore because, you know, if I tried to care about all of that, I would die thirsty, hungry, and alone on this moon or planet. So I'm picking my battles. And the temperature of my oxygen is not a battle I care about. Eventually what's going to happen is I am going to airlock this main door, add AC to the base so that my suit doesn't have to work so hard, and probably make the base all carbon dioxide. I essentially don't want pollutants or volatiles in the base. I don't want volatiles in the base because volatiles plus oxygen equal explosion. So volatiles as base atmosphere is a little dangerous because I don't want to explode. And then pollutants is horrible for me. It's toxic and it kills me. So carbon dioxide obviously is not good, but carbon dioxide is a lot better than volatiles and pollutants. So eventually I'm going to make the base basically the same as the grow room, which is roughly 30 Celsius, roughly 100% carbon dioxide. And then I'll have a separate room through here that will be an airlock, which will be an oxygenated and cooled room where I can take off my suit and do things, right? It will be where I eat, I microwave potatoes, etc. And that will be through there. So I'll have an airlock. I already have this airlock to the farm, and I'm going to have an airlock to my breathing area. So once the potatoes are going and producing oxygen, I can then set up the room over here that has temperate oxygen with an air conditioner and an actual airlock so that I can go into a room and breathe, and I'm not going to have to worry about cycling air and all that nonsense. And I'll be able to recapture all of my gas cans. So that's next step. I'm focusing on the potatoes right now, because the potatoes need to start seeding. Essentially, the amount of potatoes I'm going to need to survive is like 60. I'm going to need to plant 60. So I'm going to have those 3 will become, 9, and those 9 will become 27, and so on and so forth. But it needs to happen immediately or I'm dead. And even then, there might not be enough wiggle room. I still might just be dead. That's why I'm focusing on nothing but the potatoes. Because this planet has no oxygen, no water. So the only source of oxygen is those potatoes, except for gas capture with an arc furnace. So there's a possibility that I make an improved mining tool, and I mine up a crap ton of silver and gold and smelt it just to capture the oxygen that it outgasses. That might be a project to do at some point. If I'm really lacking oxygen, to just smelt a bunch of things that outgas to oxygen. But potatoes are the more sustainable route, so I'm not spending my time smelting gold to huff gold fumes to survive, right? That's just dumb. All right, let's get the grow light in. And why not a vacuum? Because vacuum makes my suit work hard. My suit doesn't have to work so hard, meaning that I won't have to fill up my waste tanks and oxygen tanks constantly if I'm in a reasonable atmosphere, meaning reasonable pressure, reasonable temperature. So it doesn't necessarily need to be breathable, but if the temperature and pressure are reasonable, I can even get away with just using an oxygen mask and not a full suit. That would be pretty good. So that's essentially what I'm working towards. All right, grow lights. So grow lights are a little weird in that they don't cast light universally. So I think if I have the data port facing me, this might have to be tinkered. But if it's made here, I think that will cast light on a whole bunch of plants about in that spot. This might need to be moved sometime down the line. But let's get this hooked up. And then I'm going to want the... I'm going to hook up the data port too, because I'm going to want the logic for grow lights. So right now, I'm going to have a manual grow light. I'm going to actually turn it on myself. And now they're thriving towards fruiting. Now, the other thing to note is if I take a look at the room, I've never taken off my helmet, right? This room is now 0.2% oxygen. Those potatoes are making oxygen. That's the whole reason. I mean, obviously I'm going to starve at some point, but that's primarily the reason I'm planting potatoes, is they consume carbon dioxide, turn the carbon in the carbon dioxide into plant growth, right? And this is true on Earth, right? Trees, plants, most things are made of carbon. So a tree doesn't magically turn carbon dioxide, CO2, into O2. It takes the carbon and builds itself with carbon. That's what a tree is. It's mostly carbon stripped from the atmosphere to build with it, or whatever, to grow with it. So, yeah. The room will slowly become oxygenated, slowly. And whenever it's a bit too oxygenated or a bit too underpressured, I will have an oxygen filter to siphon off this oxygen. But yeah, we're going. We're growing. All right, so now what we're going to do is set up grow light logic. But we officially have a greenhouse. Are there algae tanks in this game? No, but there are plants that are better than potatoes. There are ferns. So for baseline, potatoes outgas about 8.5 moles per hour of oxygen. A fern outgasses 17. So about double-ish. And then the super ferns, the Darga ferns, outgas 61. Boom! For many times more efficient. It's possible to buy Darker Fern seeds at some point. Trade is enabled for the series for the things I can't reasonably obtain on Vulcan, which basically means plant seeds. So I won't be buying alloys, I won't be buying gases, I won't be buying liquids. If it can be sourced reasonably on Vulcan, I am prohibited from purchasing it. But purchasing of a Darker Fern would be really nice, because I would need, you know, like a 1/7 of the Darker Ferns as potatoes. And its water usage is 0.4, and potatoes is 0.4. So they're just a lot more oxygen efficient for water usage. Do I plan to do trading? Yeah, but like not right now. All right, what was I doing? The logic? Yes. So we need a reader, an IO, and that needs copper. Do I have copper anywhere? I literally have no copper. Okay, because I just made a bunch of cables with the last of my copper. Okay, let's go get copper. Prep for steel? No, the grow light logic is more urgent. After I get some, the logic for the grow light, then I'll prep for steel. But without the grow light logic, my potatoes are going to be, dying or stalling their growth. And while I'm out here, might as well pump in some more nighttime air. Bringing the ambient temperature of that small tank down so that it can absorb more heat from the AC loop. Thank you for tuning in to Stationeers Vulcan, which originally streamed live on Twitch. If you have any feedback or questions for me, let me know in the comments below. If you would like to catch a live stream of mine, Radamant.com has my stream schedule and countdown timers to upcoming streams. If you'd like to join my online gaming community on Discord, Radamant.com has a link to it, as does the description of this video. Thank you so very much for watching. Special thank you to my Twitch subscribers, Patreon patrons, and viewers like you that support the channel and made it all the way to the credits. Thank you so very much. I hope to catch you next episode or an upcoming stream. Farewell, my fellow astronauts.